Disney Dreamlight Valley's new photo mode is hands down the highlight of the Wonderland Whimsy update. With powerful new tools like lighting and weather controls, villager visibility toggles, and yes, brand new character poses, the creative possibilities are endless. But with so many new features packed in, it can feel a little overwhelming at first. So in this video, I'm giving you a step-by-step guide to all of the new features and camera mode, and I'll also be sharing my top tips for capturing the perfect pose, especially if you're aiming to level up your DreamSnaps. Let's jump in. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into camera mode, and we're going to start talking about all the different features. So this first option is your selfie mode. I don't spend too much time in selfie mode, but this is good for taking pictures with your villagers, or if you just want a selfie, this is how you take it. You have 3 different options, and everything about this menu is basically the same. We don't really have any new poses here per se. The only new thing about this mode is the pause and play button here. This is really helpful if you're trying to catch a specific look and you don't want your character to move. You can do that by hitting pause and play. Now this is in all the pose menus, so just keep in mind, we'll talk about this feature some more in a second. Now in selfie mode, you can also control facial features. Again, there's really nothing new about this mode here. All of these are our normal basic facial features that we've been able to play around with in the past, except again, you can hit pause and play if you're trying to catch a specific face. Now with that being said, you can change from selfie mode to full body mode, and that's where all of the magic happens now. So if you press Y or V on your keyboard, it's Y on controller, V on your keyboard, you'll enter into full body mode. You're gonna probably spend majority of your time here. This is like a fixed camera view. You can see we can't really zoom in or zoom out. However, if you press Y on your controller or V again on your keyboard, you will enter into kind of a free camera mode. I don't really love this mode. It's not bad, but I don't spend a lot of time in here. But just so that you know it exists, if you're trying to get a zoomed out picture of something, maybe you're trying to do a specific kind of dream snap, there is this version as well. I'm going to do most of my explaining in the first full body picture mode, so let's stick here for now. Now we have all of our regular poses. Most of us are very familiar with these poses. We've had them for a while. The 2 new poses that Disney Dreamlight Valley mentioned came with the Wonderland Whimsy update are these 2. So this is the first one. It's a little hand on the chin moment, and then we also have like a waving pose now. Now I like both of these poses, but I can tell you is that it's not exactly true that these are the only 2 new poses that came with the Wonderland Whimsy update. We have a ton of new poses, which I'm going to go into in just a second. Now when you're in this full body mode, you do have the option to toggle between some different tools and things like that. So right here you can select your pose. If you move over to this tool icon, this is where you can pose with your watering can, fishing pole, shovel, pickaxe, all of that good stuff. So if you're taking a specific kind of picture or dream snap and you want to use a tool, this is the menu that you'll find it in. As you can see, we also have the pause and play button under all of these menus, just allowing you to pause it on the specific or perfect pose that you're trying to capture. Now in this last menu here with the little person and the pet icon, this is where you'll be able to switch between your critter poses and like your glider poses and stuff like that. Now for example, if you do have a critter that you have or a companion following you around, you can click this first little paw print icon, and that will bring you into your critter pose, allowing you to take pictures with them in specific ways. If you're not aware, every critter or companion kind of comes with their own pose, which is a very important key to this video. Now you also have this hand icon. This hand icon allows you to pose with any accessory that you have in the game. So if you go into a wardrobe, you can see accessories here. Now these are all the different accessories that you can pose with. You may have more or less depending on where you got these accessories or where you've been questing, because some of these I got from the premium shop, like the whisker basket. The pencil is a quest item, so yeah, it just depends on what you have, but any accessory that you change to, you can then pose with. And then lastly, you have your glider poses. This is obviously for specific reasons one of my absolute favorites. I adore being able to fly like this in our pictures. I think it's really, really pretty. Now you can also change your facial expressions when you're in these different poses too. But anyways, your glider pose is also dependent on which glider you have equipped. So for example, if I go back into my wardrobe menu again, come down here to the glider menu, I can change the wings I have attached, or I can choose like the Dreamlight Magic Carpet that we just got in a recent update. And when I come back into the camera mode, when I hit glider, you'll see that my new pose with the glider is different. because I'm not using my wings anymore. Now again, we're going to come back to critter poses so I can show you a ton of different ways to capture unique poses, not only for pictures but for DreamSnaps as well. But first we need to talk about some of your new filters and toggle options, which is really the star of the show when it comes to this new camera mode. So if you come to the three dots, I want to start here just because I have a good example going on behind me. I'm trying to take a picture and I have these villagers behind me doing their thing as usual. If you are familiar with doing DreamSnaps, then you know anytime that you are trying to take a picture for a DreamSnap or even setting one up, your villagers just come and try to photobomb or ruin the picture. So we have a ton of new toggles which will basically turn off different aspects around our environment that we don't want in the picture anymore. It's absolutely amazing. But for example, I can turn villagers on and off. Now this is like a little bug where if they have an animation like this, it may still show. I've been able to just hit turn on and off again for it to disappear, but that's just something to keep in mind. So if you are trying to take a DreamSnap and too many villagers are trying to photobomb at that time, you can just turn this off. I absolutely love this new feature. It's so good. In addition to that, you have speech bubbles that you can turn on and off. This is again an issue when villagers move into your picture. They'll start talking and then all of a sudden their speech bubble will kind of get stuck on the screen and it won't go away until you exit camera mode. That is alleviated by just turning speech bubbles off. You can also turn off snippets if you want. You can turn off touch of magic. This is specifically important for when you're submitting a DreamSnap. If you can't submit your DreamSnap because it says you have touch of magic in the background, you just need to come into your camera mode and turn it off here, and then you should be able to submit your DreamSnap photo. Now, another really cool feature in this toggle menu is that you can turn your own avatar off. Now, this is where changing the camera position may be beneficial for my decorating friends out there, or even my decorating creator friends out there. You can essentially change the mode like I did in this little third person mode where it gives you like the free camera option. And in here now, if you turn your avatar off, you can get a clean photo of an area that you're decorating without having to worry about your person or your character being in the picture. Now, this feature is also important because let's just say you want to take a picture of Hades for some reason. I can go into the camera mode like this, and then I can come to my toggles, turn my avatar off, and now I can kind of work around trying to get just a photo of them. You can get really creative with DreamSnaps with this option too, because let's say that you're doing a decorating DreamSnap and you don't really need your avatar in the picture. You can use one of the Disney Dreamlight Valley characters in your picture, you know, in some type of way as a focal point. So that's just something to keep in mind as well, but you can turn your avatar on and off very easily. All right, so for this next toggle, I went and grabbed Puma so we could hang out together, but you can see we have Hangout visible. This means if I want to, for whatever reason, not have my person that I'm hanging out with in the game in my picture, I can just turn them on and off very easily. Now, you may be wondering why this is important. This is important because if you're doing a DreamSnap per se, and you want to turn off all of the villagers, well, then the villager that you're hanging out with may not be in the photo. Now, if you want your villager that you're hanging out with to be in the photo, you can just turn that on while turning off all of the villagers in the background photo. That way, when you're doing your DreamSnap, you can have a specific villager in the photo while everyone else is non-existent, except Hades Fire, as you can see. So now that we've talked about all of those options, I'm just going to turn villagers visible off so that we have a clean background. The last one, or the last two that we're going to talk about, is critter visible. So as you can see, I've got Fig with me right here, my little cat companion. We can go ahead and turn them off if we want to. So now they're no longer in the picture, or we can turn them on. Again, we're going to come back to this in just a second. Bear with me. We have one more toggle to go over, which is visual effects. Now, visual effects, I could not figure out what this was for originally, but I have figured it out. So as you may know, in Disney Dreamlight Valley, we have certain furniture options that provide special effects. One of the more popular are fireworks. So we do have these little fireworks sets that you can interact with that will shoot fireworks up and into the sky. Now, originally when we're working with fireworks like these for a DreamSnap, you would have to come out of photo mode, come back here, hit activate on each of the individual fireworks, and then run back and try to jump back into your photo. But that is no longer the case. Now, if you're trying to take a picture and you want to activate those special effects, you can scroll down and hit activate here, And then slowly and surely, you will see right back here, all of your fireworks are taking off into the sky, taking a picture with any item that has a visual effect super easy. We have other items in the game that you can use this for, so it's not just fireworks, but this is an absolutely amazing feature. And I love that we don't have to exit out of photo mode to do any of these things that made taking dream snaps or just pictures in general difficult. Now, before we do a deep dive into poses, okay, we're going to talk about this next menu option, which is weather, filters, and also frames. Now, the filters and frames have not changed. We have all of the same filters that we can apply to our photos, like so. This hasn't really changed much. We do have frames that you can add to your pictures. Again, this is nothing new. This is something we've had for a while now, but the weather toggle is phenomenal. Okay, I cannot express this enough. For anybody that's new to the game, you are coming in at the perfect time because weather has been such an issue when we're trying to submit dream snaps. Now, if you're trying to take a picture and it starts raining, you can easily just hit the sun icon and it'll ensure that you have a bright sunny day behind you in the game. Now, if you do, for whatever reason, want to take a moody dream snap, maybe you enable rain. As you can see, it is now raining in the valley and it's starting to get a little foggy. Now, I do think this one is bugged right now because there's actually supposed to be rain visible. You can actually hear the rain, but it's not actually raining. So I know that they're going to probably patch this very soon, but just so you know, currently it's buggy, but you can enable rain in the game or in the photo if you want. Fog is one of my favorites. We do have a fog icon now. If you guys are longtime DDV players, then you know that fog comes around for like 3 seconds and then it disappears. It only happens like once at a very specific time during the day, and then it just goes away as quickly as it came. Now you can put fog on your photos, which I love seeing, kind of like this foggy effect. I think it looks really cool. So now being able to enable it with just the click of a button is so nice. And then another showstopper is this moon icon, which turns it to nighttime. But this is like not your average nighttime. Look at the moon. Look at how pretty that is. I definitely think you'll have to play around with some settings that we're about to go into in a second, but like this moon this could make it for such a really unique and fun dream snap, I think. Again, it makes everything super dark, but look at this. It almost looks like you're floating in outer space. You could do some really cool things with this like filter, this weather toggle. So definitely play around with some of these weather options. Again, you can change it to make it moody, super vibrant, sunny, whatever you want. But now that it's sunny again, we're gonna do this icon here, which is our slider menu. This menu allows us to adjust a lot of things that make our picture a little bit more vibrant or less vibrant depending on what we want. But the best thing about this here is that you can easily adjust the time of day without exiting photo mode. Now, next we have the contrast slider. If you're wondering what contrast does, it lightens certain areas of photo while darkening other areas. So you can see it gets really kind of like overexposed and really vibrant. Or you can drag it back down to make it less vibrant. I wouldn't say it's just necessarily about vibrancy though. You just want to focus on maybe adjusting this a little bit. I do think this setting will help with making your pictures feel a little bit more sharp or focused. So I do play around with this a bit when I'm taking pictures. Now when I'm taking a photo, I'll probably always have a level of contrast on. Now saturation is about vibrancy. This is going to take your pictures from very muted, no color at all, to extremely vibrant. Brightness is exactly what it says it is. You can overexpose like that or take your brightness all the way down. It just adds a little bit more light to your photo. I would not suggest moving this slider too far up because again, this doesn't look good in my opinion, and I don't think it's really going to be good for any dream snap options. It really does depend on how you play with it, but brightness is a good option if you have a darker photo and you want to lighten it a bit for some reason. You do have that option here. And then you have vignette here, when this is basically just darkening the edges of your photo. So as you can see, if you drag this all the way in, it darkens it a bit. So it adds like a little circle around your character. This could be helpful for maybe like some drama to your photo if you want. You see these little circle icons right here. You can just click these to bring your picture back to where they're supposed to be. And this is just your normal photo settings. But you can see how different the photo looks after you remove some of these settings. Now, one thing I do want to point out is now that we have these options here, when you add a filter to your photo, this can actually change the filter you have. I would love to see them add a toggle for like changing just the application of the filter on your photo, you know. But right now, if you want to kind of tone some of these down, because a lot of them are just too much, like this one for example, you can play with your sliders a bit. So you still have the filter applied, maybe you take saturation down, and now you have like this muted, cool, kind of like antique-y type of photo that you can play around with. You can even increase, contrast a bit, but you can see by just playing a bit with the settings, I've completely changed the filter and what it looks like in its original state now. So this is a cool way to get a new set of filters if you want. And I would recommend playing around with this and then writing down or saving somewhere your settings so that you can just easily apply these new filter settings if you want to your photo without having to play with them or try to remember off the top of your head your settings. But yeah, like even this one, I've always really loved this filter. This is what it looks like in its original state. Like this is crazy. However, if I wanted to play around with saturation a bit, take the brightness down, this could actually start looking really, really cool, I think. Add some more contrast. I would even bring the saturation down a bit. I think that this filter looks really cool. You even have this like, I don't know what this is called, like lighting effect on the side of the photo over here, which is really cool. Let me move look at that. That is a really cool filter, I think. Now let's probably go into the most anticipated part of this video, poses. We have, I don't even want to give a number, but we have a ton of new ways that we can pose in our pictures simply by using different companions that we've collected in our games. Let's just start with the companion I have attached to my character right now. So if we come back into this menu option here, hit the companion icon, you can see that I am posing with Fig. Super cute. We love it. It's an adorable picture. And again, we can pause to capture the perfect pose with our companion if we want to. That's something that we don't want to forget about. Now, the key to getting a custom pose with your companions is to come into your three dots here and turn your critter off. Now, once you do that, you can now pause your menu like this, for example, and now you have this pose for whatever type of dream snap or whatever type of picture you're trying to take. This is one of my personal favorites. It looks like she's admiring something. It's really unique. I love being able to see her pixie wings in the back. I just love this pose. I think it's really, really nice. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, you got that cat from the premium shop, and that is true. Not everybody is going to have the cat because it is a premium shop purchase, but let me show you what you can do with some of the base game critters. Okay, so one of the first critters that you come across in the game when you're just starting out is the classic squirrel. This is an excellent pose because if I take my character and I turn them around like this, we'll have her pose with the companion, and look, she's got the cute little companion here. Now, this is adorable by itself, of course, but let's just say you're trying to smell some roses or something in your dream snap. Now you have a really pretty squatting pose that you can take without your companion. This could also be used in a situation where maybe you're trying to do like an offering type of photo. You could just get super creative. Like there's a ton of different ways you could use something like this. Here's a custom pose that you can get with your avatar. This is a really cute, like maybe you're laughing or something like that. And again, if you want to make sure, like you don't want to have to try to snap the picture at the perfect time, just use your pause and play button. Boom, right there. You're done. Look at this photo. This could be her giggling at something. It could be just a really cute smiley type of picture. And again, this is the perfect example of something that may have multiple poses because you have this pose as well. So now you could use this as if you're showing something off. Maybe you're standing in front of a bookcase. You want to look like you're doing something in your photo. You could use this this pose. So now we have the fox pose here. This is another base game companion that you can have in the game. And as you can see, she's now sitting on the ground. So by turning your companion off, you now have a really pretty picture of your character sitting on the ground. Maybe you want them to sit on a picnic blanket, or it's a decor challenge in a dream snap and you want to get them sitting in front of something that you've beautifully decorated. This is the perfect pose to do that. Now, if you have any of the expansions, you know they all come with 3 new companions. The critter I have equipped right now is the capybara, and that comes with the Eternity Isle expansion pack. So let's go into photo mode because I'd be willing to bet that most people hate this pose so much. Like people just did not really like this pose. It's not one that we could use very often. However, if you take your companion out of the pose, this could be a really good pose for maybe trying to emphasize something that's on the ground. Maybe you want to take a specific photo pointing to something. This is the perfect pose for that. Like look at this. That is a ton of emotion in one picture. If you have Storybook Veil, you have the dragons that you can pose with, of course. These are some of my favorites. Look how cool this one is. I absolutely love the dragon companions. But we're going to turn the critter off. And then as you can see, we have some really cool options, multiple different poses here. There's this one, which is a really cool pose. You have this one showing kind of like excitement. I really like how she looks in this picture. I like the emotion. You even have this. Okay, even more emotion. Hands are up, you're excited or maybe celebrating something, and even this one. So you even have 3 different facial features with this one pose just in and of itself. So you've got like 5 different poses you can do just with that dragon companion, which is amazing. Now this could be a good or a bad thing because this gives us a whole new reason not only to purchase new companions that come in the premium shop, but also companions that come with expansion packs. Now if you purchase an expansion pack, not only do you get 3 new companions, you'll also get new poses that you can use for your dream snaps or just for photos in general, which for me is really enticing. Y'all, the fun doesn't even stop there. I just want to experiment with something that I haven't tried yet. Let's look at the magic carpet. This one comes with the base game as well. As you can see, we're floating on the carpet, but let's remove. So now we have a picture of us floating in the air. Like, I don't even know how we could use this. Like, maybe you can put some rocks underneath her or something, make it look like she's kneeling on some rocks, or maybe you just want her to look like she's floating. But how cool is this pose? Your character is literally floating in the air. This is an example of a premium shop purchase. This is R2-D2, who is currently in the shop now, but depending on when you're watching this video, R2-D2 may not be available. Now don't worry, because anything in the premium shop always comes back around, so you'll eventually see R2-D2 again. And I'd also recommend, if this video inspires you to want to get R2-D2, make sure you pin them now, and that way whenever you do have the moonstones, say you don't have the moonstones now, you can purchase them at a later date. We do have the pinning function in the premium shop now. You may have seen the heart hands pose, and that is one of the poses that I think is most popular in the game right now. So if you're wondering how to get the heart hands, there it is. You get it specifically by posing with R2-D2, and this is another one that comes with a bunch of different poses. Let's go ahead and turn our companion off. You can see I've posed it here. You have this one. You even have like this shocked face here. Now if you stand here long enough, the heart does go away, so you will have to kind of wait on that. But look at this one. I absolutely love this one's kind of endearing. But the most popular, and the one that I posted on Twitter that I got so many questions about, is this pose right here. It's the heart hands. I adore this pose so much, and I will admit that I spent 2,000 moonstones on R2-D2 specifically just so that I could get this pose. Shout out to Console Kato here on YouTube, who shared this with me during my live stream. She was mentioning that this pose came with R2-D2, and that's why I purchased it, and that's how I know about it. So thank you so much, Kato. But look at this pose. It is so cute. I absolutely adore the heart hands, and again, you can use this in so many different ways. I even noticed one more pose in here. I think that's like 4 now. This one. This is perfect. If you want to like look shocked in your dream snap about something, look at that. Look at that facial expression. The hands, everything about it is great. Now, just as a side note, some of these companion poses move your character around for the picture. So for example, if you want to be in the middle of your frame and you try to take a picture using R2-D2, you'll see that it pushes you off to the side here. So what I like to do is move over a bit. So I might start the picture here, and then you can see now your character's more centered in the photo. You can also see that she's also facing to the side a bit when she's doing the heart hands, which is not great. You might want her facing more to the front. Turn your character kind of at an angle like this. So now you have it where your character is facing straight on to the camera, which is exactly what you want. And then all you have to do is now remove R2-D2. So there you go. Now you're in the middle of the photo. You don't have to worry about some weird placement issue. You can take your picture. So there you have it, friends, your step-by-step guide to the new camera mode and all of the features that come with it in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I hope that this video has been helpful. If you've learned something new, please don't forget to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're interested in a variety gamer and streamer here on YouTube. I'm your girl. Also have some helpful videos right here that you can check out if you're interested. And until next time, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.